Hey everyone, welcome to the Pyromancer guide. If you don't know, I am a pyro main, and here are some of the tips that I have found throughout playing my hundreds of hours of Pyromancer. I'd start by recommending to not use pyro until you can at least hit some of your fireballs. If you start with pyro, you're going to get used to making frequent use of the Combust ability, i.e. the plus 200% or triple AoE, rather than actually hitting your fireballs. Your fireballs, when not using pyro, are going to suffer if you do, and you want that extra splash damage to be a bonus, not your crutch. Maybe try and get some fireball practice in with Stoneshaper or Tempest. Condo if you're feeling spicy, but Toxicologist might not be your forte since, you're not going to have the best aim with your fireballs and you're likely going to light yourself on fire with some dragonfire. Firefly can be handy to keep momentum going, get a better angle on opponents, or save your hide from falling into the fracture. It's not the best class movement ability, but it can help in some situations. If you're fighting a stone user, you can jump into the air, drop the wall beneath you, and flick your camera upwards so you can get more hide and take less damage. If your wall's been tainted with toxic, now it's dragonfire. You'll still benefit from the Firefly if it's your wall, but you'll also take a tick of 20, i.e. the dragonfire damage, and be ignited, so keep an eye out for that. People can also extinguish your walls with frost or wind, so don't place them too far ahead of you if you plan on taking off. Pyrolysis is handy, but only really useful if you can drop a wall on someone. It doubles the damage dealt by the wall itself for 2 seconds, and you can tell it's active because of its distinct blue flame. Knowing the range you can reach with it can be very helpful, since you could just drop it at your reticle's location and keep most of your momentum going. Otherwise, you'll be grounded or stationary in the air for a couple of seconds while you're trying to aim it, and you're likely going to get hit when you're trying to do that. You could try and place it so that a retreating or S-keying player would just walk right into it, giving you that free little tick and the ignite. This can also work for players that are pushing you or W-keying you, but you place it in front of them so they walk straight through it. Basically, practice your wall drops so you can upkeep most of your momentum. Conflict I have found to be pretty disappointing because it isn't too common to have one of those extra fireballs that spawn to hit, and even rarer for 2 to hit. If you're lucky and you're dropping a toxic cloud, but it's too far away from your main fireballs puddle to ignite it, one of the conflict balls can help you out there. I wouldn't heavily rely on conflict fireballs to do much damage, to be honest, so try and hit your fireballs. Good secondary gauntlets I found to carry with pyro are toxic, stone, and frost if you're feeling spicy. If you want to run 3 gauntlets, I'd recommend choosing 2, keeping your fire on your right hand and being able to swap between your secondaries depending on the engagement. If you're within licking distance, some call it melee distance, I'd recommend using toxic or stone, or wind if you prefer, because the combust splash damage will damage you too. As for equipment, I'd say it's really down to the player's preference and playstyle. If you're good at aiming sorceries, maybe go for a scribe or a quicken amulet, or a behemoth or slayer if you're better at spell aim. I don't think wanderer amulets are really worth more than quickening amulets for pyromancers, especially because the fire isn't very mana friendly, so you could run out quite quickly. But then again, it's down to the player's choice. For belts, I'd usually go with the option that offers more rune charges, i.e. Wanderers over Runic Study, Berserker over Behemoth. I would even sometimes choose to keep my Wanderer's belt over my Mender's or Scribe belt, simply because I could use more dash runes. But again, it's down to the player's preference. Mix and match the equipment until you find your preferred style. From my experience, using Scribe boots, then Behemoth, then Slayer is probably the best progression for boots as a Pyromancer. But if you want to use Berserker boots, Mender boots, or Wanderer boots, that is completely up to you. Rune-wise, I'm particular to dash, but Shadow Step and Spring Step and even Featherfall are also viable. The first 3 you would use as you'd expect, but with Featherfall it's sort of used the same way as Tempest players maintaining height and shredding opponents with wind from above. Basically, you cast Featherfall and rain fire from above. Conflict seems to be pretty potent doing this, and some people in the community have taken to calling it the AC-130 build. Overall, Pyro is a pretty new player-friendly class and is very forgiving for poor aim. So I hope the guide has been able to help you out with your Pyromancer endeavors. As always, my name is Merlin, and until I see you next time, stay magical.